Tune in today as we get insider advice from Stanley the Dirt Monkey on becoming a contractor while I wrap up this aquatic masterpiece. Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. Guess who showed up on the job today? Jeff, you are only, what, about 35 minutes or so away, you said?
Yes.
So he's right down the road from us. Pond guy reached out to you originally. I know you have a koi pond. You wanted to come on out, discuss a few little tips and tricks for water features?
Try to upgrade mine a little bit and make a little less maintenance on the maintenance end.
Excellent. So we're checking out Stan's pond, kind of showing him around intake bay, talking about our wetland filter. Hopefully we'll be able to help Jeff out in the future with any of his water feature needs.
Let the fight begin.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, go. It's like pushing against a wall.
Come on, Al. Jeff is smiling.
No.
All right, guys, so Russell actually asked me a phenomenal question yesterday. He's really excited about starting to learn how to run equipment. And he asked me, what's the first step? You only have 3 paths to running heavy equipment. You can go to a heavy equipment school where they will teach you. It's gonna cost you thousands of dollars. And I got nothing against going to a heavy equipment school. If that's the route you wanna go for it. If you got the extra money and you like sitting in a classroom, go for it, because they do teach you a lot of valuable skills, which is great, because once you have that background, you're in like Flynn, right? But if you don't have thousands of dollars, there's 2 other paths that you can take. First one is go to work for somebody like me. We're gonna teach you. I mean, all you gotta do is show the drive, the ambition, the want to get to the next level. And someone like me that owns a small business is gonna say, yeah, put him in the seat. Give him a chance. You're getting paid to get trained. It may not be glorious work, but you're getting the training. That's the critical element. And then your third course would be to go buy a piece of equipment and practice on your own. I've always said, before you do a job for somebody else, you need to do that job for yourself. This is a great example. I want to start building ponds like this for people. We put in the first major pond right here, because if I'm gonna screw up, I'm gonna screw my own stuff up. Gotta practice on your own property. And one of the things that I always came into was the challenges of building retaining walls with limited access. I want to build this wall this tall, but I don't have the room for the geogrid. Is it possible to do it? So I built this wall, and then its height over there, it's about 7 foot tall with limited access holding up a deck. So before I would go out to a customer's yard and say, hey, here's the scoop, we can do this, I wanted to make sure that we could do this without an issue. So I practiced on my own property. Go build a fountain or a pond for your neighbor or anybody that'll allow you to do it. Practice other places, and if you're gonna get into heavy equipment, you can rent it, you can lease it, or you could work for somebody, or you can bite the bullet and go pay a school to train you. And if you're in Minnesota, please come work for me. I need someone to help Zach out.
What'd Stanley say?
We are cutting the geotextile fabric, which is going underneath everything. We've already started doing the pond, and now we're actually doing the next layer inside the wetland. That entire area behind Stanley's home was all built up. The original grade has been totally changed, so we brought in a lot of fill. And when you're getting fill into a project, you never know what you're gonna get. So there was rocks and the roots, and there's branches, and there's pieces of wood, and there's asphalt and all types of stuff in there, which is not an ideal situation. So what we're doing is we're coming in with our heavy duty underlayment fabric. We have actually 3 different types. We have the standard, which is on normal residential backyard type stuff. We have the heavy duty, which I use on most of my large larger scale projects because I'm looking for the extra thickness. So basically what this is, it's a standard needle punch polypropylene geotextile material, but it has additional loft. It has extra cushioning, which is exactly what we're looking for on this particular project. We want to have a nice cushioning bed to protect the rubber membrane. The rubber membrane is there to hold the water in place. The geotextiles are as a cushioning, but it also spreads the weight out over a larger area. This same material is used in a lot of geotechnical systems, road construction, big retaining walls and things like that, where they actually have to stabilize soil. So the beauty of this material is when you put a load on top of it, it spreads the weight out over a larger area and you don't have point loading. Point loading is where you're going to have failures in your subsoils and potentially your membrane. So when we take our rubber membrane, we have a layer of this heavy duty on the bottom, as well as another layer on top. Now we have a really robust system, which is not going to cause any problem. And we have different lengths. I prefer getting the 15-foot wide pieces as well as 300 feet long because I'm usually putting in larger water features. So this is better for most of my applications. But everybody has to figure out exactly what you're looking for and your job requirements.
Yeah, so we were laying out the centipede and snorkel setup, trying to get an overall measurement so that way when we start our excavation, we've got a good, clean perspective on what we need for size.
What are you guys up to right now? Filling in cobble and gravel around the snorkel here. Try to get this filled in, and we're going to add a couple more stepping stones around the edge to lock everything together.
At a great point in the project right now. We're getting down to those final details. We're starting to clean things up. A lot of the edging is done. Pumps are hooked up, piping's in, mostly. Still got to do some of the work on the jets. Greg Gill has been working on that over here. Remember, those jets are really important because it's going to help with the overall circulation. We have one more section right over here in this back corner where Russell's at. We're going to come in and we're going to start doing some cobblestone and beach type work over in there just to break up the monotony of all the different large boulders around the perimeter. Remember, it's always important to have large rock, medium, small rock, all the way down to the river stone, so it kind of gives you that naturalistic effect. We don't want all one or the other because then it looks a little bit too man-made. I also want to drop in a couple big accent boulders periodically throughout the different project in a few different areas just to kind of break things up so it's not all rock directly inside the pond. I want to try to carry that outside just a bit. It's been a long week.
It's been so fun. It's been so awesome.
It has. I can't believe where it came from. You know, I mean, a week and a half ago I came out here with you and Zach. We started excavation, building up, started with that wall over in that corner, digging all this out, and holy cow. And here we are. You know, and we have running water now.
I know, I know, I know. It's amazing how far we've come in such a short time.
60 ton of boulders.
It's over 105 cubic yards of soil, but it was weird because we dug it out just to put it back in a different spot.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And-
site
and-
balance, right? We
just kept bringing it out, in, out, in, and out. It was just tweaking everything.
You know, when we talk about projects of this scale, you know, there's multiple things. You know, like STEM learning is very popular right now. The science, the technology, engineering, and math for life. But I also like to put, I call it STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math, because there's an artistic component to it. We have to do calculations. You did calculations on cubic yardage. I did calculations for tonnage of stone. We wanted to site balance stuff. We're redistributing. But that's where really construction is kind of fascinating because it's a wide variety of different disciplines that it takes to actually pull this project off. It's not like you're just digging randomly and like, holy cow, look at all this dirt I got. It's like, you were like 105 yards are coming out. Okay, that's a number. Now it's like, what are we going to do with that? Thankfully, you had stockpiles, we were able to manipulate stuff around, but it's understanding all those little pieces and parts and breaking them down. It makes it more digestible, and actually, it makes it real.
And you had a timeline for everything. I mean, everything right down to the T. I mean, it was just, everything was planned. There was nothing by happenstance. It was, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do next. This is how many people we're going to have. This is how much material I need ahead of time. So I had all that ready. Then you had all of the materials you needed delivered ahead of time. And then the communication was critical. And I was sending you pictures and videos.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I blew up his phone because, you know, I've worked with other contractors. And the thing that I've learned to appreciate is when someone talks to you, it shows that they actually care about the process.
Yeah, because it was real. It's like, okay, and you showed me pictures of the stone and the size and all. Yeah, that's exactly what I need to know. I'm thrilled with it. I hope you are as well. I know it probably might take a little bit for it to sink in. You're gonna have to live with it for a few days, and you're gonna probably have a bunch of questions. Let's go that way. We'll talk about the intake bay and where we started a few days ago. What I like about this is it's actually working. so
yeah, I like
this
it
is
when
good.
it works too,
when it works, right? I mean, look at all of the little cottonwood seeds, all the debris. The pumps have only been running for 2 hours. There's like nothing on the surface. You can actually see a leaf coming in as we speak. It's gonna pull everything in because of the overall design. I asked you which way your prevailing winds were, and you said, oh, they typically come from that direction. I'm like, okay, the intake bay is gonna be on this side because we're working with nature. Because most of the time the winds are going to be pushing the stuff here. Pond is a living, breathing organism. If you design it properly, it will work flawlessly. And so I love seeing this, and this is your point of maintenance. This is protecting the biological filter. All your debris is going to get caught through. It has to go through, remember those flow cells on top, the aqua blocks. All that stuff goes through, and you're standing on top of the pump valve right there. Everything's in one place. So when I try to talk about low maintenance, there obviously there's maintenance to everything, right? Everything on the planet needs to be maintained, otherwise it's going to fail. But we try to simplify things as much as possible. So what we have a low voltage transformer, which is just dropping us down to 12 volts. We're drawing just a few watts of power. An IonGen system. I have it set at a level 3. What this is doing is we have a copper probe that's going inside of that pump valve. We have an alternating current that bounces back and forth between the two different probes. They want to arc in between. So the copper wants to fuse itself together, but we have flowing water going past it. So the copper particles, the ions, get swept through the pumping system and they get redistributed throughout the system. Now copper, because it's a heavy metal, is never going to go away. It's just going to keep recirculating around inside of here, and it will bioaccumulate in sediments and algae and things like that. We do want algae. It's an important part of the ecosystem, right? You know, I mean, like algae is healthy. There's stuff that's growing in there. When you put fish inside of here, they're going to feed on all that stuff. So it's an important part. We just want to control it. If it gets out of control for you, see this little plus sign, hold that down, it'll start to beep, and then once it does that, you could increase it up or down. But for a brand new pond with no algae at all, I'm going to say we're going to set it on a level 3. We have our XT, the dosing system, and basically what this is, liquid enzymes inside of here and microorganisms. This is going to seed the entire system. We're exposed to leaf debris coming in, so we have all types of higher organics are naturally going to come in. We have rain coming in because these microorganisms will consume that nitrogen for you, and that's going to give you the best water quality.
You're the only person I know that can talk more than me.
It is hard not to walk past that rock without actually knowing what it took to set it.
Yeah.
Hey, just so you guys know, that fork shifted again. Keep your distance.
and you were adamant.
I was.
It has to go in the water. I'm like, Ed, it's all right if it's not in the water. No, no, oh no, it's Ed's way or the highway. And I'm telling you, and I'm like, yep, whatever you want to do. So if you want it in the water, it's in the water. So just to move it over there was a struggle.
Oh yeah.
We put this in place. Then he looks at it, we lift it up, and he's like, oh, the dirt's got to go like this, and then it's going to be level. And I'm like, you do whatever you do, Ed. The first day he showed up, I had 60 ton of mixed boulders just in a big stack. And Ed's just crawling over it like a monkey. And he's like, I want that one down there. And it's not like close. It's not the easy ones, you guys. It's the ones buried. He had me pluck like 6, 7,
Yes.
8 stones and then put them in place, and they all worked out.
And that's what I love working with you and your team. I mean, you guys have heavy equipment, the logistics. I mean, you're thinking all of those things that 99% of the world doesn't even know about. It was awesome.
You could see everybody concentrating and
Yeah.
being so far ahead. So as you're laying stones, I'm like, I wouldn't lay it like that. There's no way I would use that boulder like that. And then you would do like 5 or 6 stones later, and then it would make sense.
Yeah.
Like you put it in totally wrong, and then after all of this other stuff happened, I'm like, oh, I would have never thought of that. I call you the Picasso of ponds, the Wizard of waterfalls, right?
Nice, I like it.
I
I
mean-
got to change my name.
I mean, it was so awesome, and from start to finish, I consider this to be your masterpiece.
Well, it's obvious. It's a clear collaboration. I may have been the director of the entire team, but clear collaboration. After the big boulder, the wetland filter, for a pond of this size, it is overkill, but low maintenance. I know you're talking about doing native fish in here, and the reason that the larger wetland is important compared to like a koi or something like that,
Right.
because koi, their diet is like 30% protein. If you're talking about maybe throwing a northern pike in here, getting some other piscivorous animals which eat fish, their waste is a lot higher in nitrogen.
Yeah.
So you need a filter that can handle that.
I'm putting fish in that will eat Greg's koi. Because I love my job.
So we have 2 pumps. One is sending water to the bottom of the wetland filter. We have that big water distribution system. The second pump is just there for additional volume, and that's because we wanted to get aeration. We don't have a massive waterfall, but we have a wide waterfall. We want to have that tumbling action going over those waterfalls, which is going to naturally oxygenate the water. And then the other section of the water is getting pushed out by those jets all the way at that other end. And you can see what that's doing. That's just pushing all that debris. From here, we put in a bunch of these big rocks to break up that line. We have your little rustic walkway going across.
He likes that word, rustic. You know, it's at a different elevation. That's rustic. Yeah, that's rustic.
Another big boulder, but we have a quick way to hop across. You could obviously still take the pathway around, but I think this is just awesome. So the filter is obviously working. The clean out is over there. Don't touch that for a minimum of 1 year. All right, well, it has been a pleasure, buddy.
It's been awesome.
Man, this has been one incredible build.
It's been
Oh my God.
so fun.
It really
I
has.
just got nothing to say, but thank you,
Awesome.
thank you. Awesome to work with you guys.
Yeah, we
Yep.
enjoyed it. Look forward to working with you again in the future.
Yeah.